All right, friend, let's get straight to it. The AFC West is still the league's most intriguing division, and for you as a Chiefs fan, that means every little offseason move matters. You saw how last year's standings shook out, and now teams have shuffled coaches, quarterbacks, and draft picks in ways that could change the balance of power. I want to walk you through the big picture shifts first, so you know why every roster move matters before we dig team by team. Start with the obvious. The Raiders tried to reset with a veteran coach and more draft capital. The Broncos leaned into defense and kept faith in their rookie quarterback. The Chargers brought back familiar pass catchers and tried to shore up offensive help, and the Chiefs doubled down on fixing the trenches and adding playmakers. That's the gist, but the devil's in the details: coaching philosophies, schedule swings, and which teams actually addressed their biggest holes. For the Chiefs specifically, small upgrades on the bow. Offensive line and a few targeted signings change how I view this team's ceiling. If the line holds and some guys get healthy, the offense is less likely to stall in big games. And that's huge in a division where you face a mobile QB, a powerful offense, and a defense that can make life miserable if given time to gel. Before we move on, quick favor. If you like this kind of straight, no-nonsense Chiefs analysis, smash that subscribe button. We're pushing to 5,000 subscribers, and everyone helps us bring you more game breakdowns. Now, the other thing you've got to keep in mind about the AFC West is schedule context. Some teams got a tougher slate this year by facing stronger interdivision opponents. Others lucked into softer matchups. So when I say the Broncos are better or that the Raiders could improve to 8 wins, I'm factoring in not only personnel, but who they play outside the division. I'll break all of that down as we go. Quick pop quiz for the comments. One word. What's your prediction for the AFC West winner? Drop it below. And also give me a quick yes/no. Do you think this version of the AFC West is harder than last year? Say yes or no in the comments, and tell me why in one sentence. All right, that sets the table. Next up, I'll take the Raiders and Broncos apart and explain exactly why I expect the changes you heard about to play out the way they will. If you're still with me, hit like so other Chiefs fans can find this breakdown, and let's keep rolling. Now let's dive into the Raiders and Broncos, because if you want to understand the AFC West, these two teams are critical. Start with the Raiders. Last year they finished 4-13, and that record didn't exactly inspire confidence. But this offseason, they made some headline moves that could flip the script. Pete Carroll is now their head coach. Yes, he's the oldest coach in the league, but age isn't slowing him down, and his experience matters in ways you can't always measure. The Raiders also brought in Geno Smith at quarterback and added Ashton Ganty in the draft, among other pieces. 11 draft picks, a focus on defensive reinforcements, and some savvy free agent pickups. All signals that they're serious about improving. Of course, they lost some key contributors too: Robert Spillane, Nate Hobbs, and, most significantly, Gardner Minshew, who went to the Chiefs. That's a huge blow for them. And it'll be interesting to see how Carroll and Smith manage without him. My take? They won't be a juggernaut, but I see them improving to around 8 wins, missing the playoffs, but showing clear progress. That's meaningful if you're tracking the division. The Raiders are no longer pushovers, and the Chiefs need to account for that. Now, let's shift to the Broncos. Last year they finished 10-7, and despite strong defensive play and a promising rookie quarterback, Bo Nix, they still ended up 3rd in the division. That tells you something about the competitiveness of the AFC West. The Broncos made some solid offseason moves as well. Safety Lanoa Hufanga adds serious depth to the secondary, linebacker Dre Greenlaw brings versatility, and tight end Evan Ingram and running back J.K. Dobbins provide some offensive balance. Drafting cornerback Jade Barron in the first round should improve an already solid defense, and if Bo Nix repeats his rookie success, Denver could push even harder this year. They did lose some pieces: linebacker Cody Barton, running back Javonte Williams, and quarterback Tremon Smith. But overall, I think their defense steps up while the offense stays about the same. What does that mean in plain terms? If Bo Nix avoids the sophomore slump, the Broncos could finish with a strong 12-5 record. And schedule-wise, while last year's slate had them facing the AFC North and NFC South, this year they tackle the AFC South and NFC East, plus the Bengals, Jets, and Packers. A slightly tougher lineup, but one that still plays to their strengths. Quick interaction for you here. Do you think the Raiders really hit 8 wins? Or am I being too generous? Drop a thumbs up if you agree, thumbs down if not, and tell me why in one sentence. Also, type R for Raiders or B for Broncos if you think one of these two teams could finish above the Chargers in the standings. Keeping up with these shifts is essential because it frames just how dominant the Chiefs have to be to hold the division crown. And don't worry. Next, we'll break down the Chargers and then see how all these moves set the stage for the Chiefs' response this season. Now let's talk Chargers and, of course, the Chiefs, because this is where things start to get really interesting for the AFC West. The Chargers finished 11-6 last year, second in the division, and they clearly tried to address last season's main weakness, giving Justin Herbert enough help to succeed. They brought back familiar pass catchers Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, hoping both still have something left in the tank to make a difference. They also signed guard Mekhi Becton, added quarterback Dante Jackson, cornerback Benjamin St-Juste, tight end Tyler Conklin, and drafted running back Omar Hampton, a player that could really thrive in their system if given the chance. Joey Bosa and running back Gus Edwards are gone, but honestly, their defense was already one of the league's best last year, so losing Bosa stings less than it might seem. The big question for the Chargers is all about that offense. Can Herbert get enough support from his receivers and running game to keep defenses honest? If Mike Williams and Keenan Allen struggle or face injury, opposing defenses can load the box and slow down Hampton, which puts more pressure on Herbert. On the flip side, if the WR duo contributes as hoped, the Chargers could be a very tough matchup. Schedule-wise, their 2025 slate is a step up in difficulty. They face the AFC South, NFC East, and then the Dolphins, Vikings, and Steelers as the 3 additional games, a noticeably harder lineup than last year. Now turning to the Chiefs, last season, Kansas City dominated at 15-2, including 1 game without starters. They've addressed critical areas in the offseason, adding Gardner Minshew at quarterback depth, offensive tackle Josh Simmons, cornerback Christian Fulton, offensive tackle Jalen Moore, and defensive tackle Jerry Tiller. Some losses occurred: Joe Thuney, Justin Reed, Wharton, and Naughty on the defensive line. But overall, these moves solve long-standing weaknesses, especially on the offensive line, which struggled last year. Returning healthy players is a huge boost, too, since injuries really limited offensive consistency. The Chiefs are set up to maintain dominance in the division, and frankly, it's hard to see any AFC West team slowing them down if the line holds and the key players stay healthy. Here's a quick poll for you. Do you think Justin Herbert's WR core will be the deciding factor when the Chargers face the Chiefs? Yes or no? Type it in the comments. I want to see what you think. Also, if you follow the Chargers closely, drop one sleeper name you think could surprise this year. Let's see who the real dark horses are. All this sets the stage for a division